Ladies and gentlemen, don't be frightened. I came in peace. I was invited here to liberate you from this current corrupt government that has betrayed you and provided fewer benefits that you rightfully deserve. But don't worry, life will be better for you. It'll be much better for you in the future. I have a great number of tanks surrounded your city. I have a modern air force to back them up. Just do as I say, and no one will get hurt. That was precisely what Hitler and the Nazis said to Austria, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Denmark, Holland, and to France. They took these countries without firing a single shot. They were seized by intimidation and by deceit. Over 50 million people died in World War II because one sick man was permitted to lead and many who chose to follow. Only 6 million were Jews, but 44 million were killed were non-Jews. Last year alone, over 500,000 people, men, women, and children, were slaughtered in Rwanda. Only 2 decades ago, over 1 million lives were snuffed out in Cambodia. We all know the suffering and pain endured by Bosnia by both sides, by the Christians and by the Muslims. And only recently, an assassin's bullet took the life of Yitzhak Rabin, a soldier, a general, a chief of staff of the Israeli army, a military man all his life who led the Israeli armies to many victories in the battlefield. He decided rightfully that true peace can only be achieved by negotiations at the negotiating table, where everyone wins. And he gave his life for the world and for peace. One of his own people, an Israeli, who believed in revenge, insisted that more blood must be spilled and the dispute can only be settled by war. He pulled the trigger and deprived Rabin's family of a husband, of a father, of a grandfather, and stripped his country and the world of a true peacemaker. Holocaust, genocide, ethnic cleansing, it is all the same. It can happen anywhere. It can happen here. A brief synopsis about myself. My name is Harold Gordon now, but 55 years ago I was a 10-year-old boy whose name was Herschel Grodziński. I lived with my family in Grodno, Poland, a city of 60,000 people, of which 25,000 were of the Jewish faith and the remaining 40,000 or so of Catholic persuasion. We lived side by side and in peace most of the time. Within months, after the Nazis occupied my Grodno, my city, my entire family, except for my father, was gassed, burned, and vaporized without leaving a trace of their existence. All those years while I was imprisoned in Auschwitz, Dachau, and other extermination camps, I kept praying to God. And often when the pain became too great to bear, I would say, God, I promise if you let me live, if you only let me live, I will take revenge. I will take revenge and I will kill every Nazi that ever crossed my path. I will make them pay for taking my family from me and for leaving me without a burial place to even visit. I said, you just let me live and you see I'll keep my promise. On May 8th, 1945, the war ended, and it was time for me to keep my promise. I began thinking, how many Nazis can I kill before I die? 10, 100, 1,000, and then what? Who will remember my mother, grandparents, brother, aunts, and uncle long after I'm gone? I said to God, please forgive me for not keeping my promise. I have another plan in its place. I will make a good life for myself, a life that my mother would be proud of. I will raise a family, leave behind descendants so there will be grandchildren for them to remember them long after I'm gone. I will not forget my ancestors. I will put my memories in the deepest regions of my brain and to recall them before my days on earth have ended. And suddenly, without warning, I heard a call. Something began rumbling like a volcano in my head, and I knew it was time for me to fulfill my second promise. I sat down at my computer every night after work, and like a video, it was all before my eyes. 2 years later, my book, The Last Sunrise, was completed. I couldn't help but wonder, was there something else that God had in mind for me to fulfill? I was the youngest survivor of a city of 25,000. Why was I chosen to live? I was not the smartest, I was not the strongest, I was just an average kid. I was tormented looking for an answer. God did not reveal himself to me, not in my sleep nor in a vision. I had to search the deepest region of my soul to arrive at answers that I could accept and live with. And 3 such reasons emerged from deep within my heart. And the first one, of course, is to memorialize my family by putting their images in my book so that many all over the world would know that they once lived and walked this earth, so that my mother in heaven would be proud of the work that I've done for my family and for others. And reason number 2 is to help others who have suffered and been abused by helping them let go of anger and resentment in order for them to focus all their energies on positive goals and a better life for themselves and for their loved ones. And of course, to give to charity. Whenever I speak to a synagogue, church, or any service organization, I give a portion of the proceeds of the book sales to the organization, thereby giving to all charities that are not my own. The remaining of the funds goes to print more books. It was great pride that I tell you that I've arrived in the United States in 1946 at the age of 15. After paying for my passage, I had $10 remaining. I'm happy to say that I've never collected welfare or unemployment. I served in the Korean War and was exposed to 5 atomic blasts in Desert Rock, Nevada during the testing period. I spent 42 years as a union oil dealer in the city of Salinas. I donated the last 3 years of my time for no fee, paying back this great country for permitting me to come here and to make it my home. One of the greatest rewards and fulfillment is to be witness to the erection of a permanent monument, the United States Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and to attend the opening ceremonies on April 26, 1993. My wife Joyce and I are co-founders and charter members excuse me, of this newly completed Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., where my family's records reside among the many. I will not go into any stories of the concentration camps, the atrocities, and the danger that was faced daily. You all have heard about that too often already. I would just like to touch on the last moments of my liberation from Dachau, a concentration camp in Bavaria near Munich. It was the end of April 1945. The Russian Soviet troops were advancing, had the city of Berlin surrounded, and were bombarding it. The Allied forces have already landed long ago in Normandy and marched up the German countryside or on the outskirts of Bavaria. And Hitler was given by the High Command, an order was given by the High Command to kill all remaining political prisoners so there would be no trace of the atrocities that were performed during those war years. And so an order was given to kill all the people in Dachau as well. And 7,500 weary souls that have been weak and sick and tired and hungry were taken on a death march through the gates of Dachau toward the mountains of Tyrol, the Swiss Alps, there to be executed by machine gun and buried with bulldozers. There would be no trace of any of this.